Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Edain mod. Today we're not doing a guide today, we're not doing a battle of sorts. Today I'm just going to be going over my first and probably one of my last PvP games in the Edain mod. And you can probably guess by the name on there that I've named it, Peasant Spam, you can guess exactly what I was playing and what I did. So we're on the map called Mephedrus, which, honestly, this map has got a few problems with it, but we won't go into that. So I was playing as Rohan. I've got my friend here, good old Dorito, playing as Isengard. And then my other friend Gilgalad playing as, well, Imladris, believe it or not. I started off going for the attack command. I don't believe I used it straight away. But I did build I built two flour mills and an archery range, preparing for getting gambling. I was going full peasant spam. While Gilgalad went for a Imladris barracks start. And, yep, Orc pit start. It seems like I'm one of the only people that actually builds actual resource buildings in their camp start first. Like, am I really the only one that does that, thinking that that's good? Oh well. But yeah, as you can see, I quickly dispatched of this. I got Edain very quickly. And yep, I did use the attack command horn on my peasants, making a farm in the process. And then I immediately used the Edain's cruel taxes. Got another flour mill. And then I just started pushing my way down, because on this map there's only 7 creeps. There's the 2 goblin layers here, 2 here, 2 here, and the troll in the centre. So, what made this so effective is the fact that no one actually paid attention to me. It was always Gilgalad and Dorito fighting each other. And Dorito got Bill Ferny very early, which, honestly, yeah, Bill Ferny's quite dangerous in the early game. If you can get him leveled up, he's a lot stronger, but at level 1 on his own, it's not much. So Dorito went straight away to Warg Riders. I was not expecting that. I think, yeah, I had not planned for any early cavalry. Gilgalad only building a second mine. Yeah, unfortunately, Gilgalad was new to this. He didn't quite know what to do. Yeah, he did go for the Imladris Blade Masters, which always works. And as you can constantly hear, come peasants, we must rise up and fight. I made endless peasants. I even got some pit throwers just so I could deal with any structures that my enemies would have made, and so I could deal with it. And they go first to Regium Forge, and still Dorito has not built a single building on here. They're so focused on their individual battles, they're not focusing on their economy. Meanwhile, so you can see here, Gilgalad unfortunately just has a very weak economy start, and so does Dorito. And also, Dorito went straight for the Machinery of War, which, in normal PvE, I normally don't do that until it's at least the first 5 minutes in. So him doing it very early did make it a bit difficult for him. But you can see my peasant spam just kept going. Had some pitch rows. I built the assembly point just so I could actually get Theodred. Because again, getting all those heroes while Theoden is still corrupted means I can banish them, meaning they're doing more damage, and their abilities will recharge faster. And Gambling and Theodred are 2 of the best early game heroes for their abilities. Gambling because he can summon peasants, and Theodred because he can summon towers that have guards protecting them. So while I was just minding my own business, building an army, Gilgalad and Dorito were constantly fighting each other. Gilgalad seems to have built some pikes to counter the cavalry of Dorito. Dorito's still not built a single mine inside his base. I don't know how he managed to survive with that little economy. I really don't. But yeah, if he actually built up his economy a bit more, he would be in a much better position than what he is. But against Imladris, going for the Orokai early game, I'd say that is a pretty good decision on his part. But as you can see, I'm just sitting here thinking, maybe my enemies will attack me. Maybe they won't. I'm just going to sit here and wait. See if anything happens. Gil-galad got the Breeze and Monway and Miravor. So he's got both his tier 1 powers in effect, which is going to really help against Isengard. Lock them in place so we can hit them. Meanwhile, my tower over here is just sitting pretty. Our large peasant armies is constantly going back and forth, because I was getting attacked a bit by Dorito at this point. He's sent his wild riders down to take down these settlements. I, unfortunately, was not going to have that. And because I'd just been left alone, I have a very sizable army. And I even started getting into some command points to cement that. Burning some towers finally just to add some extra defences. So I left these 2 plots open so I could build the armory, and you can see there, and the stables, as needed the funds to pay for them. So, I've not gone for any pikes yet, although I might have just done that. Yep, got some pikes here. Because a large spam of peasants is able to actually just stop enemy cavalry. Because when an ally unit, when a unit gets knocked down by a cavalry unit, if they die, the mass of the unit no longer matters, and the cavalry can keep charging through. But if they survive, their mass still exists, their pixels still exist, so the unit will have trouble finding their way through. So for units like Wild Riders, they're better against factions that have one-hit kill charges, like against those hobbits around the hobbit farms, or against undrafted peasants, or basic Gondor soldiers not in block formation. And you can see here, while I'm still just sitting doing nothing, and Gil-galad and Dorito are still fighting, I don't know how he managed to do this. I don't know how he managed with only 1 resource building, honestly. But I lost quite a lot of peasants in this fight, but I was willing to sacrifice them all. Just because I was building up my economy at the time. I think I started with the settlers' tools. The workers' tools, even. Unfortunately, like I said, Gil-galad is brand new. He didn't know that the library is one of the most important buildings of Imladris, and without it, he can't get any of his upgrades. And yeah, I don't know why they didn't build up here. I mean, it might just be me, that I've just been playing for so long that I'm used to just doing that. But as soon as I was starting to get attacked by both players, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm not having this. Even all those elves don't stand a chance when they're being bombarded by the AoE damage dealing pitch throwers. And an army of peasants protecting them. So I just kept going back and forth, building all these towers with Theodred, who was banished, by the way. I didn't even realise that Gollum was there. If I did, I would have taken the ring right there and it would have been over. But at the same time, I would have only still had corrupted Theoden. And if you didn't know what happens to Theoden when he's corrupted, when he takes the ring, basically Grima kills Theoden, and Grima becomes the a more powerful corrupted Theoden. But if Theoden takes the ring when he's purified, he can get 4 different buffs that can be really effective to the army, which is the version I prefer. And oh my god, don't mess around with that version of Theoden. He can make other heroes invulnerable to damage. He can do AoE damage. He can get himself straight to level 10, so Glorious Charge is always going to be a thing. And he also has a map-wide leadership. No other hero in the game, not even Sauron, has a map-wide leadership. You have to be near Sauron to get the instant replenishments. Like, see here, it's a constant battle of attrition. These two are just constantly fighting each other over and over again. I'm just sitting here thinking, okay, if they're not going to attack me, I'm just going to build up. I'm just going to get strong. Why join in the fight when I'm weak, and make them stronger with powers, when I can just sit and wait, get more powerful, and I don't need to worry about my powers, because I'm just be stronger. Let's see, Dorito still kept Bill Fernie at level 1. I think most of the time it's just a lack of economy is why he never leveled him up. pulling his Urukai into the block formation. If you didn't know, block formation for the Urukai no longer reduces their speed, it reduces their weakness to ranged attacks. Which seems a bit weird to me, honestly. It seems a bit weird. As you can see, I've now upgraded my arsenal so I can get the forged settlers tools. That's the one I went for. I went for settlers tools and forged settlers tools. Just to prevent my opponents from taking back the settlements I take. By adding extra defenses. Because currently, they're still currently running on Steam. And they've just worn each other out quite badly. And there we go. I'm just sitting here with a rather large army of peasants. Fairdred constantly making towers. We've now got Gambling, so when he gets level 2, he's also banished. He can say, hey peasants, go to the armory. Now all of the peasants will get stronger when he does that, but the peasants he makes also show up drafted. So yeah, Gambling is the perfect hero for this situation. And then other than that, didn't really do much else other than just constantly build up the pantry. I was spied on so much. Like, oh my god. They should have stopped me while they had the chance, honestly. But I just, what can I say? I 3D chessed them. I five-headed them. They just didn't know how to stop me. They didn't know what to do. So I just walked in. Merry first, of course. Why not? I saw this thinking, oh, okay, I'm just going to join in the fun. Throwing stones in the back of their faces. Then my entire army gets thrown around. I'm just going to give them all a draft so they become stronger than their units can deal with. And because he's a pikeman, because Gil-galad was using pikemen to deal with the cavalry, he's got no chance against my peasants. And yeah, look at that. All those pitch throwers in the back are actually really good. Yeah, strong against enemy buildings and machines. They also do AoE damage. They don't say that, but yeah, they do. They do mini AoE damage. And there's Merry beating up a old elf named Gildor. Poor lad. And yep, Gambling just summons some more peasants into the back of the line of hobbits, and they are defeated. And so I thought, okay, I'll just beat up someone pretty badly. I'm going to go to the other side now. But firstly, I'm going to build up my settlements because I want some more money and replenishment. Because yeah, Rohan has one of the best settlement buildings for just constantly harassing the enemy with the assembly point. It can become a tower, and it also classes as a well for the fortress. And at this point, I did build my stables. I was convinced, I was ready. I'm going to get some cavalry to deal with enemy crossbows. Because unfortunately, Gil-galad still not. As I said, I'm sorry, mate, for saying it quite a few times now. But yeah, in that kind of situation, you probably should have gone straight into building more economy buildings. And yet, look at that siege building. Ugh, disgusting building. I've now I saved up all my PowerPoints so I could revive Edain into the glorious king. So now his leadership better affects all my units without reducing their armor. I'm going to have a look here. Yeah, it gives them 15% damage in armor. So we lose 15% damage to gain 15% armor. And then we just get all that back eventually when he just gets higher level. And yeah, still with a pretty sizable army. I have so many assembly points everywhere. And if I wanted to, I could build an assembly point. If I could select Fairdred. I believe I had Fairdred level 4 at that point, so I could have upgraded one of my... No, I didn't yet. So I could eventually make one of the attack posts into a siege garrison. Like this one here. I can make it so I can make the pitch throwers... Not the pitch throwers. The pitch throwers and the Rohan Haycart, the two newest units in Rohan's roster. Newest being that they're about 2 years old now. And you can see I was just making more pitch throwers. I'm an advocate of not making siege, but pitch throwers aren't siege. They're a ranged unit. They're a really good ranged unit. In fact, I hardly ever see any reason to get yeoman archers other than they're just really good at dealing with in the late game because of their fire arrows. But in the early game, pitch throwers, yes, they're smaller unit sizes. Yes, they can't get an upgrade to their weapons because you already have it, which is why they're better. And yep, they're just going straight into my siege post. I'm going to let that happen. I'm just going to stand here. Wait patiently. I bought the outer tower for this, so if they don't come close to me, I'm just going to slowly pepper them down, one by one. They kept out of range. Gil-galad started building up an army. Yep, you can see here he's built some Orphus Halls. And he bought another Orphus Hall, which aren't bad. I personally don't get Orphus Halls just because your regular forges are important. But obviously, as I said, he didn't know that he needed a library. So unfortunately, he just has these 2 barrackses and no library to upgrade his buildings. But personally, if I was in his shoes, this would be perfect to just build up. In this battle here, I would step back, go back, hit the enemy where it hurts hardest in their base. Although again, that's why I did this nonsense to stop that kind of thing from happening. And yet we've got more pitch throwers over here. We've got some peasants coming in from behind. I prepared perfectly. I didn't realise he destroyed his Warglare at the time, but since he did, I didn't need any more pikemen. Yep, we've already pushed him back to his base. He's going into his block stance, which is good against normal infantry, but against ranged units like the pitch throwers, it's not going to help, unfortunately, because once they get hit, it's over. And yep, I summoned the attack posting back here, and this is one of the few times you'll ever see me use this thing. The hay bale, the hay cart. If you don't know what it does, it lights itself, it kills itself, and it does moderate damage to a building. By moderate, I mean quite literally moderate damage. It can keep burning for a while, but the damage is pretty worthless, in my opinion. You know, Gil-galad, not knowing what to do, just kept building up an army, which is good. It is good. Building up his economy. Let me actually check what he got. Yeah, he's getting a good bit in the bank. Spending it immediately, of course. And then me, being the person I am, I keep going back and forth thinking, okay, I'm just going to cripple this person so badly that I can then leave and not have to worry about anything. We have a siege post right in front of his base. Oh god, I was a bit of an asshole that fight, I'm not going to lie. I was like, oh... I didn't mean to, okay? I didn't mean to. It's just that's how it looked, unfortunately. Yeah, the biggest thing that got me this far in this fight is just because is mainly just because I was able to just not be in combat in the beginning for a long time. I was completely left alone. And yeah, Fairdred, if you don't know how to counter him, he is busted. In fact, another hero in here is really busted as well, which I only recently found out he's bloody busted to the core. Harmer. In this peasant spam, Harmer should have been the first hero I got after Fairdred, not Gamling, in my opinion. You want to know why? Because when he's in combat, he passively heals all of your troops. In fact, I think I got Harmer right now, yeah. Indefatigable. Harmer is a source of unbending courage and honour. As long as Harmer is in combat, nearby allies regenerate health points slowly. Also, at this point, I was giving my units heavy armour and forged blades, by the way. I was getting... Oh, yeah. So this is about between a lot of large peasant spam and a bunch of elves. You might think, okay, I've seen Nedling do great with the larger selves. He was going to win this, surely. Well, one, I just threw Merry overhead to go to Gildor. All his troops are focusing on Merry. So now he's no longer fighting me in combat. I'm using my pitch throwers very effectively, so that all those poor elves are not in combat currently, dealing damage to all my peasants. Theoden's level 5, so his leadership give 25% damage and armor for my troops. Just gave everyone a draft, and there was an entire elf army. And hardly any of my peasant spam died in the process. And most of that was just because while Gil-galad was focusing on my little hobbit, which I had sent running around, I didn't intentionally make that happen. It was also a happy circumstance that I used to my advantage oh so greatly. And at that point, I now got 6 power points, thinking, okay, I'm now going to get a cool hero like the Three Hunters. But unfortunately, if anyone is to ever play on this map, I recommend don't play on this map, because quite a few things don't work. Like, for example, the Three Hunters. Where are the Three Hunters? Where are my heroes? Nowhere to be seen. They are unfortunately nowhere to be seen. And I was like, I've got the Three Hunters, but nothing's happening. And you can see, I've just beat the living life out of Gil-galad, and now I'm moving my way over to...
I will fight for our people.
Oh yeah, I just got Edain as well. I thought, why not get every hero? I got all my pantry upgrades. I started getting upgrades for my peasants. Got heavy armor on everyone. In fact, you can see on here, some of them already have... all my pit throwers have heavy armor, so if they were to be focused, fat chance of them dying. Gambling in the front, summon some peasants. I could use the Horn of Rohan, which I was going to do right now. So all the enemy troops would be weakened. Someone just summoned a... oh yeah. Just summon the resting camp of the elves. Because why not? And then, yeah, my peasants were just swarming once again. But being me, like the perfectionist I am, I wanted to make sure everything was perfect. But you can see that healing my units are currently getting. Harmer is a literal well. He is a well who is constantly providing healing to all of my peasants in melee combat. That is the most stupidly busted thing I've ever seen. And that's him at level 1. At level 3, he fights for Virtue of Rohan and takes no damage from enemy attacks. However, if he is mounted and he tramples over something, he will still take revenge damage. So it's not the best way for him to escape on horseback. And then side by side, he can give a Rohan hero nearby a power upgrade. And then he can summon some Royal Archers. Yeah, Harmer is actually a really good hero. I often don't use him enough, because I've seen how powerful Gambling and Theoden are, and I normally don't think of any other hero other than those 3. Oh yeah, and meanwhile, Gil-galad found Gollum, and I thought, that's Gollum. I'm going to get Theoden over there now. And you know what? That's exactly what I did. I thought, you know what? He's suffered enough. I'm going to let him live with 1 building, 2 towers, because why not? I'm going to take that ring before anyone else can. And unfortunately, again, Gil-galad is new. He didn't know that only the ring hero could take that. I just summoned some knights to trample all of those elves. Obviously, it didn't kill them, but I trampled them again, and it was some good damage. I can trample them again, and it's some good damage. These Vanguard of Rohan can actually kill 500 resource cost elves. I don't know why it says farm on there. I think that's because I'm on the main spectator seat. But yeah, at that point, yeah, Dorito unfortunately gave up, and so did Gil-galad, just as I got the ring. Because, you know, who would think they'd be able to beat ring hero Theoden? I personally don't think I could. I've got all the upgrades, and I was ready to throw him in with a horse on Glorious Charge on his own. And yeah, Gil-galad just surrendered as well. That just goes to show, if you let your opponents just sit around and build up their strength, they are going to win very well, in fact. The only times that won't happen, the reason why that happens more often than not in the Edain mod compared to other mods like Age of the Ring, is because the Age of the Ring powers are so strong that getting your tier 4 powers in Age of the Ring, like the Eagles for Gondor, is enough to destroy an enemy fortress, which cripples them. Meanwhile, in the Edain mod, there is Isengard that has the mine ability, but the difficulty how difficult it is to get that kind of power, it is actually really inefficient to go straight for a tier 4 power. And even if you did, that won't destroy the entire base. I'll destroy nothing in the base except for maybe a tower or two, or a well. But you get the point. Edain mod games are made to last longer, and you have to put a lot more effort into every move you make. Where in Age of the Ring, it seems to me, from the PvP experience I have and I've seen, it's just playing a lot of harass, constantly having to rebuild everything, constantly running around, and I don't feel that way when I play the Edain mod. And the one game I have played in PvP, I must say, I wouldn't mind playing more PvP. It's not what I want to focus on, definitely not. I'm not a PvP player, and that one game I was very lucky. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed. I've rambled on enough, I think, and I am a little bit knackered, unfortunately. And I hope you will all enjoy next week's videos, videos for the rest of the week, sorry. And next week, for Monday, every Monday from now on, I'm thinking of doing one of these kinds of videos. So currently, we had the beginner's guide, then we had this video, but the plan is for the next probably 2-3 months, the video for Monday will be the overview for each individual faction for the Edain mod. That is the plan. So I'm going to have a whole week of going through everything for every faction and making sure I have all the information I need to to prepare the perfect perfect videos for you, so you can learn the Edain mod the best way you can if you're unsure, if you're brand new, or you just want to polish up your knowledge. But anyway, as I said about 5 minutes ago now, I'll see you around, everyone. Bye.